is a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from being an actor in your own life. You know the feeling. You walk into a room and immediately a subtle, invisible radar turns on. You are scanning faces. You are calibrating your tone. You are adjusting your posture, not for comfort, but for effect. You speak and then you pause, waiting for the nod, waiting for the laugh, waiting for that tiny, imperceptible signal that says, I see you. You matter. And when that signal doesn't come, when there is silence, or worse, indifference, you feel a crack in the foundation. You speak louder, you over-explain, you clarify a point that didn't need clarifying. You offer a justification for a decision that was yours to make. In that precise moment, you believe you are fighting for your dignity. You believe you are demanding respect. But to everyone watching, you are doing the exact opposite. You are displaying a wound. You are holding up a sign that says, my value is not inside me, it is in your hands. Please give it back to me. The cruel irony of human nature is this: the harder you chase respect, the faster it runs away. The more you demand to be taken seriously, the more you look like a child wearing a parent's clothes. We live in a culture that tells us to assert ourselves, to build a brand, to be recognized. But the ancient Stoics and the dark corners of human psychology reveal a different truth. Respect is not something you gather. It is something you leave behind when you stop needing it. Let's look at the mechanics of this. Why does the pursuit of respect smell so much like desperation? It comes down to a concept the Stoics called Autarkeia, self-sufficiency. To a Stoic, a person is a fortress. Inside that fortress, you have your reason, your character, and your choices. That is your territory. Everything else, reputation, fame, the applause of the crowd, the nod of the boss lies outside the walls. When you actively seek respect, you are lowering the drawbridge. You are walking out of your fortress unarmed into the open field and begging the enemy to tell you that you are strong. Epictetus, the slave who became a philosopher, put it brutally. He asked, "Who is your master?" It is not just the person who holds the whip. It is anyone who has the power to give you what you want or take away what you fear. If you want respect and your neighbor refuses to give it, your neighbor is now your master. If you want admiration and the internet ignores you, the algorithm is your master. The shift we need to make today is not about learning power moves or body language hacks to dominate a room. Those are costumes. The shift is psychological. It is the realization that the crave for respect is actually a confession of poverty. It is an admission that you are bankrupt of self-worth and you are looking for a loan from strangers. True power is quiet. It has no need to explain itself. It does not look around to see who is watching. Let's dismantle the illusion. Let's look at the 3 specific ways this hunger for validation destroys your character and how to reclaim the silence of the strong. Most people live their entire lives inside a mental courtroom. Every action they take, every sentence they speak is a piece of evidence presented to a jury. Who is on the jury? Parents, friends, enemies, society, strangers on the street. When you are looking for respect, you are effectively the defense attorney for your own existence. You tell a story, and then you add a footnote. I did this because I bought this car, but only because. Why do we do this? Why do we justify? Psychologically, this is called the external locus of identity. You do not feel real until someone else confirms you are real. You are a ghost waiting to be seen. The Stoic, however, dissolves the court. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, had every reason to seek the validation of his subjects. His survival often depended on it. Yet in his private journals, he wrote, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." Think about the absurdity of that. You trust your own appetite, you trust your own pain, but you do not trust your own judgment of your worth. When you stop justifying yourself, you create a vacuum. In conversation, this is terrifying. You state what you did, you state what you believe, and then you stop speaking. You do not offer the because. You let the silence hang in the air. Weakness rushes to fill the silence with words. Strength is comfortable in the void. When you stop defending yourself, you signal that there is no prosecution. You're not on trial. There is a common misconception that demanding respect means getting angry when you are disrespected. We see this in movies. The protagonist is insulted. They snap back with a witty line or a display of aggression, and they win the scene. Real life is not a movie. In real life, an emotional reaction to disrespect is the ultimate proof of submission. If someone insults you and you explode, you have just handed them the remote control to your nervous system. They pressed a button and you danced. Seneca, the advisor to Nero, watched men kill for honor and die for applause. He noted that anger is not a sign of power. It is a sign of fragility. A structure that collapses when the wind blows is not strong. It is precarious. When you demand respect through aggression or passive-aggressive comments, you are revealing that your ego is made of glass. You are saying, "You hurt me. You have the power to disturb my peace." The person who is truly secure looks at disrespect the way a mountain looks at bad weather. It is just happening. It has nothing to do with the rock. This is not passivity. It is the refusal to engage in a transaction that is beneath you. When you ignore a slight, not by pretending not to hear it, but by genuinely finding it irrelevant, you become dangerous. Not physically dangerous, but psychologically unnerving. You become a person who cannot be manipulated. And in a world of puppets, the person who cannot be pulled by strings is the only one who is truly respected. Or perhaps feared, but they are never looked down upon. The third trap is the most subtle. It is the trap of the nice guy or the martyr. This is the person who tries to buy respect with kindness, with competence, with overgiving. If I just work harder than everyone else, they will respect me. If I am always available, they will value me. This is a transactional view of human relationships. You're acting like a merchant. You're trading your time, your energy, and your boundaries in exchange for a specific currency approval. But the market does not value what is cheap. And if you give yourself away for free, you have set your price at zero. The Stoics spoke often of duty, yes, but they never spoke of servitude to the emotions of others. When you overextend yourself to please others, you are not being virtuous. You are being manipulative. You're doing things you don't want to do to get a reaction you cannot control. This creates a hidden resentment. You smile, but behind the smile, you're counting the debt. After all I did for them, they didn't even say thank you. That resentment leaks out. It poisons your tone. It makes your presence feel heavy and sticky. People can smell the strings attached to your kindness. True respect is born from boundaries, not compliance. It comes from the ability to say no without an excuse. It comes from the willingness to be disliked in the service of what is right. As long as you're afraid of friction, you're incapable of earning deep respect. You're merely convenient, and tools are used, not respected. So where does this leave us? If we stop performing for the jury, if we stop reacting to insults, and if we stop buying approval with compliance, what happens? The truth is, you might lose people. This is the part the self-help gurus won't tell you. When you stop playing the game of validation, the people who liked you for your weakness will leave. The people who benefited from your lack of boundaries will be angry. They will call you cold. They will call you arrogant. They will try to pull you back into the dance, and for a while, it will feel lonely. You will feel the urge to apologize. You will feel the urge to fix the vibe. But this is the price of the fortress. To be respected by others is a luxury. To respect yourself is a necessity. You must reach a point where your own assessment of your actions is enough. If you acted with reason, with justice, and with courage, then the applause of the crowd adds nothing, and their silence takes nothing away. Imagine a man standing alone in a gallery, looking at a painting he created. The room is empty. He does not need a crowd to tell him the painting is beautiful. He knows the brush strokes. He knows the intent. He sees the work for what it is. Be that man. Be the viewer of your own life. The moment you stop looking for respect is the moment you become real. And reality, whether people like it or not, cannot be ignored.